Hello everyone, Lisa Ware, SGL, and it is the last one before Christmas. And just to say, I will repeat it at the end, I've made a decision that the in-between week, I'm not going to do one, all right? And it's partly because, as most of you know, on a personal level, things are particularly hard, and we're just all hoping that my father's going to make it to Christmas Day. Basically, that's really it. Yeah. So, anyway, without further ado, we're talking about how can we keep businesses going through Christmas. Let me just find what I sent out to the teams because here we go. Yes, who likes Slade? It's Christmas. Oh, do you know what? Every time I hear that, don't half take me back. Ah, did you used to wear platforms too? And Oxford bags and all of that. Anyway, it is that I think it's quite iconic, that Christmas song, because I think what's iconic about it is it's shouting, like it's saying this is a special period of time, whether or not, hey, you're religious or not. It's a family time, it's a get together with friends and all of that. And there's a big thing there, getting together with people. So I believe, probably more than any other time of year, this is actually magical in that you have an opportunity to reach out to people, but doing it in the right way. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you some very bland and practical ideas. Okay. And then I'm going to tell you about the stuff that requires a little bit of skill. But I've done it each year, especially as we move to a new area. And by the way, we only have 7 neighbours, what you would call neighbours, because we're a hamlet of 8 properties, and one of them is a business. All right. So I can't just walk out and there's loads and loads of houses. So in reality, please hear this, my neighbourhood has to stretch 1.5 miles to our village. Is that not a fair assumption? And I don't think one could say I'm stretching the truth that they're neighbours. I have to say they're Charlton Marshall, which is our village. So there's about 1,000 houses in Charlton Marshall, and I consider those neighbours. I even consider going 1.25 miles the other way and to the next village called Spetsbury, which for the first year I was put correct. I called it Spettisbury, and they certainly tell you, don't they, when you live in the countryside. I'd got it wrong. It's Spetsbury. And I consider that as even part of my neighbourhood. And if I go the other way down the lane to a little place called Thornicombe, which is only about 20 houses, I consider that neighbours. So what I'm saying to you is, what is a neighbourhood? Well, a neighbourhood is, honestly, and not being disingenuous, it's people where you could possibly say you could come into contact with them. And I do, because what's the wonderful thing about living in the countryside is actually people stop and talk. I used to live in the what you call the towns, the conurbation. I lived in Christchurch, I lived in Bournemouth, I lived in Poole, which is all one massive conurbation. And there were people all around me, a bit like Mel in a block of flats. In fact, yours is very similar to what mine used to be. There were 8 flats, I was one of them. Do you know what? We hardly used to say a word to each other, and I'd come out and there were all these other blocks of high class flats. No one hardly ever spoke a word. Isn't that fascinating? And yet we come out to the middle of nowhere and everybody wants to talk. That's an interesting thing. So what is one of the things that I do each Christmas? Well, I've got already prepped, I've got a box down here of 1,000 all about being a partner flyers. All right. All pre-printed with my details on. But I'm going to double my efforts. And I've just ordered today a pile of cartridges for my printer. And I'm going to blast and do an appropriate neighbourhood letter on the customer side, because I think, do you know what? You can kind of get them both ways. Now, am I going to be knocking the doors? I'll tell you what we're going to do. I don't know about you. I like Christmas lights. I'm actually quite into it. And what tends to happen again in the villages and that is they all go to town. It's ever so pretty. And actually, I quite like the whole, do you know what? After dinner, this is how I view things. So after dinner, you've had a good meal and it's very easy to slump down, isn't it, in front of the telly and just let it all sing. But why not say to yourself, why not perhaps match up with somebody else? And why not go out and say to yourself, you can have an hour's constitutional. Go out with your flyers. It's really good as well. You know, you could be really cheeky. You know, the houses that don't necessarily have walls and fences at night, they don't know. You can do it all a bit quicker. You can put through the doors faster. And I tell you what, because even though I've learned that, you know, all these lights like we've got, these LEDs, they don't actually, all these lights use a lot of electricity. They're actually really quite eco-friendly. However, I'm sure anyone that puts lots up is worried about their bills. So I'm going to have a look for the appropriate one and sort of a customer type one about energy, something based on the fact that we all know that prices are going up. January, the government is raising the price cap. They did talk about 5%, but now it's going to be more, the rotters. Aren't they unkind? If you're in an area that you've got an Aldi, oh wow, happy days for you. There is no point in me doing any promotion on Aldi's. We have none. And that's why on one of the groups, somebody might have seen me put, it's no big game changer. We've always got 1% at Aldi's and Lidl's and all of them. This is just giving someone 2% more. And I think it's more the perception that Aldi's evidently are the cheapest. I didn't know that. But now they can go under the cheapest prices and get 3% off everything, which is lovely, absolutely lovely. And that just might be the little thing that pushes someone to make a decision. What it should be, and I've noted this, and I know that Mike's in the group, and Liz, you are too, and you are, Roz. In that group, you will have seen me say, what I hope is that it's going to be something that kind of gets the network into action in terms of, think about it on a bigger level. Well, if somebody's wanting to earn money, they want to know that they're going into something that's not saturated. Is that true? Now, this is great because there is about 97% of the population to go for, and that's fabulous. But also, how nice that you could say to someone, well, look, all the time, UW are negotiating with massive companies, and they've just negotiated with the biggest, cheapest supermarket retailer, Aldi. And so this makes a massive difference to people's bills because every time they spend money, they can get to the point that they eliminate the cost of services. How great is that? That as a partner, you can be confident that you're doing a really good thing. And that's the slant I think is there. And also, I will send it out. There is a piece by Claire Hingott, she's just done it. Everyone's gone berserk and they're posting about Aldi on Facebook. Do you know, in truth, very, very few people respond to this stuff. But she's saying that also, I didn't know this because I'm not into that techie stuff, that evidently the algorithms actually stop you going up the feed if you've got brand names there. I didn't know that. So you've got to be a little bit more ingenious. I will put this out, folks, for you all. You've got to be a little bit more ingenious at reaching out. And as she said, don't blast loads of information and put, oh, we've got the best supermarket, da, da, da. What she's saying is, how about just pose a question? Sorry. Are you doing a big Christmas shop? Do you tend to go to a big shop like Aldi's? Oh, get in touch. I've got some great news for you. Something that is short and sweet to the point. Yeah. And, you know, that might just get you in conversation with someone, which means that, you know, yes, it's lovely reducing someone's bills, but how much better to make a difference for the rest of their life in offering them the opportunity to earn money. Okay. So there you are. A quick, very simple thing is I'm saying, why not make use of an evening constitutional and go out there and put a load of flyers? Now, you may want to choose it to be brand awareness, name awareness, call it what you want. You may want to go back and knock on the doors and hold one up and say, did you read this? Like, is the neighbourhood letter fashion? I've done a few what I call brand awareness, put stuff out there. And interestingly, when I did it last year, I got 3 calls and 2 of them I actually turned out to sign up. And it came in quite late. It came in February, because you never know how long some people might keep this stuff. Yeah. You could put a little covering note on it. Please don't put me straight in the recycling bin. All right, whatever. Right, so what else can we do? Well, are we going out and about? Are we visiting family and friends? You know, I don't know about you guys, but you must, like me, have some family that still are not customers of Utility Warehouse. I have that person. She is my sister. We are
Yeah.
yeah. We are now my sister and I we are now kind to each other and caring, because we've got a common denominator, which is our poor parents. But we have been estranged for 12 years, but it wasn't over UW, it was over something entirely different. But what I would say to you is, I actually think my sister couldn't bear the thought that I could earn a £5 a month off her. She'd never admit it, but, and do you know what? It's not worth falling out over family, is it, for this kind of stuff? Yeah. So I've never worried about it, and I've just thought that's the way it is. And Rob Barris gives me hope, because he only signed up his brother last week after 26 years. No, last month, a couple of months ago, wasn't it? After 26 years. So I think to myself, hey, you never know, it might happen. Because here's the clue, folks. It's in the very natural, ordinary conversations that things gel. Everybody, remember this big thing here. This is my slant on life. Everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold to. That is us as well, isn't it? If I go into a shop and I get pounced on by an assistant, they've lost it. Whereas if they let me have a little meander around, and then if I go over and ask for help, they could get my custom. So if you think about that, turn it round on its other way. Don't sell. Now, I know we say we've got to open our shops and we've got to talk to folk, but the problem is you can verbally diarrhea over them and they just shut up completely. So now I'm going to give you a little instant that happened yesterday. Oh, Mel, you're going to get all het up here. It was on your ground. It was in the M&S gorgeous food hall down the road from you. So I'm going in there to buy cheeses, because I'm making my parents their own particular hamper. And I know Mum loves M&S cheese. So I thought, let's go to the big M&S food hall. So what happened? Well, this is an interesting scenario. So I go in there, I get my stuff, I've got a little trolley, and there were 3 tills open, which was great. It wasn't all push, 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 you know, self-serve. However, I chose a particular assistant, and this is all very true, because there was one assistant available. It was a young gentleman, but I'm so sorry to say he had on a big black muzzle, and it just put, I don't know, I just don't like it. It puts me off. So I thought, no, I don't care. I'll queue, I'll wait. And I went to a lady that there was one person in front. In the next few seconds, 2 more ladies of about my age, I think. God, what's my age? I don't know. I feel 18. Anyway, looking like my age, they follow me. Isn't that fascinating? And this guy, the other cashier, is still sat there all on his own. Now, what happened was absolutely true. The cashier that finished serving the lady that was in front of me was now free. And she looked at the person next to me, the next one in the queue, and said, oh, my assistant over there is free if you want to go and get served immediately, which is a fair thing to say. And what happened was quite extraordinary. She said, I'm sorry, but I don't want to be confronted. Something like with a black muzzle. It puts the fear of life up in me and I don't like it. And I think you should basically tell the management. And then the next lady actually reiterated it. So we all did. And I said, oh, yeah, that's why I came here. I said, oh, I think that's feedback for management. Anyway, that was the little bit of conversation. She's putting my bits through, as you do. Then, of course, she says to me, have you got your Sparks card? Are you ready for this? Are you ready to get... So I said, oh, God, yeah, I've got my Sparks card. I said, it's not worth a damn thing, is it? I said, I keep scanning it. And I said, I get nothing. She said, have you downloaded the app? I said, yes. But I said, I've got to go on the app. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. I've got to find out what I've got. I said, it's such a faff. I can't be bothered. But I said, go on, do it anyway. So I put it on the scanner, to which I then got out my cashback card. And I said, this is the card that makes the difference. She said, oh, what's that? I said, it's UW cashback card. It's amazing. I said, I use it everywhere and I get money back on my everyday spending. She said, what do you mean? I said, well, right now, what I've just spent, I'm getting 4% of what I've spent. It's coming off my next month's utility bill. And I said, I've just been and filled up with petrol. And I said, I've got myself £2.50 cash back coming there. I said, now I know these amounts are small, £2 here, £2 there. But I said, they add up through the month. I said, do you know what? I've never paid for my phone, my mobile and my broadband ever. She went, that's astonishing. I said, I know, it's fantastic. I said, you haven't got to do anything special. No gathering points and exchanging points for vouchers and all that fuff. These two women that are next to me in the queue went, oh my God, that's really good. I said, I love it. I love it. She said, oh, I must find out about this. This is the cashier. Now, normally, had there not been two people behind me, I'd have said to her, oh, tell you what, it's your lucky day. I can help you. And I would take her name and number. But in all honesty, having had the exchange of the conversation we'd had, and there were two women waiting, I thought this could be inappropriate. So unusually for me, I gave her my card. Now, it may not proffer anything, but I said to her, I've been a customer and with this company for 21 years. Wouldn't switch. Why would I? I'd be damn stupid. I'm getting the cheapest energy. And then some of my services I'm not even paying for just because of my everyday spending. She went, that's amazing. I said, yeah, here you are. I said, there it is. I said, don't lose it. It's a fridge magnet. I said, if you're going to put it in the bin, I'll take it off you now. Anyway, the two other women, they then look at me and say, can I have one? Have you got another? I said, yeah, but are you going to bother to do anything with it? Are you going to call me? And I'm laughing as I'm saying it. And the one next to me said, I will, definitely. So I gave her one. Now, this is just the stuff we do, isn't it? Is this not? Can you have the courage to have those kind of conversations? Because they're easy. So I don't know if I told you, but, you know, I mean, I brought in a guy called Samuel Barron. And he was because he served us in an Indian restaurant in a place called Alnwick, right up north in Northumberland. You know, how did we start the conversation? Guys, the conversation started not with me, but it started with my husband, Juan, because he turned round to this chap that was serving us and said, oh, you haven't got one of those funny accents. like everybody else. I think that's Geordie, it's called. He said, no, 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 no. He said, I haven't. He said, I can put it on if I want to. And he was from the Bahamas. Anyway, what happened? Here we are. Are you ready for the clincher? I turned to him after that conversation. I said, oh, so I said, do you work here full time then? He said, no, 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 no. He said, it's a filler in. I said, oh, it's not your passion then? He went, no. No, he said, I want to be a personal trainer. He said, I am a personal trainer. I've been looking for a business, he said, but everything's saturated. And he went off on one. And I said to him, it's your lucky night. I said, I'm a recruiter for my business. I need to get your name and number. I said, would you like to hear about a way of earning some really good money? I said, I bet you're only on about a maximum £14 an hour. He went, I'm not even on that. I said, no, I know. He said, I said, how would you like to turn £14 an hour into something like £250 an hour? And he went, never. I said, no, really? So I got my phone out. I said, right, what's your first name? Samuel. I said, okay, I'm going to put the name of the restaurant, Shere Khan. I said, because that'll be my reminder. I said, right, let's have your mobile number. Now, here's a top tip I learned from Wes. As he gave the number and I read it back, I said the last 2 digits wrong on purpose. Why? Because I wanted to see if he would correct me. Because if he was giving me a blaggy number that wasn't real, he wouldn't bother, would he? Ah, see, they're nodding. Right, that's a little thing I learned off our Wes. So what did I do that night when we got back to the hotel? What did I do? I said in UW Stories, what are we told to do? Let the tools do the work for us. Every time. Don't be the messenger. Let the tools be the messenger. We just use them. So what did I send him? I sent him Hospitality. You know, the one with James. Oh God, I'm having a mind blank. Son of Welsh head teacher. I'm having a mind blank. You know, I'm on Derek Thomas. James Thomas. So it's James Thomas. There's Helen Daly, and then there is the air hostess. Yeah. So I sent that one. Then I thought, I'm going to put the one in, the Mies one, because it's got Dalton Powell in there. And he's a bit of a keep fit type person. I thought that'll go with a personal trainer. So I said, oh, here you are, have a look at this one too. And then I said, if this piques any of your interest, write straight back to me and let me know. Anyway, 11:30 that night, in comes, I'm interested. So I then send in the one that matters, the 6-minute with earning, which is Tamsin Ford, Bev Blackburn, and forgive me, I can't pronounce his name, the other guy, Kalichi, I think so. I send that and I said, I'd like to know what you like best. Are you still interested? He watched it the next morning and wrote back, I like this. I like the flexibility. I'd like to chat. And hey ho, he came on board. Now, guys, you are going to go to restaurants. You're going to go to cafes. There's going to be all kinds of instances when you can have conversations. The best is if you don't know if any of you are going to any parties. I'm afraid my life is so boring at the moment. I am not going to a single party. I haven't even, oh yes, I am. New Year's Eve, but it's all UW partners. So that don't count. But if you do, what a wonderful time. All you need to do is ask people, how are you finding it at the moment with all this, government putting the mortgages up and the prices going up, and the only thing that's coming down is rain or snow. How are you finding it? Just ask somebody that. Do you know what's interesting? Is I tell you, because the British are so good at moaning. that invariably they will talk to you for ages. They will talk to you about how crap the weather is. They'll tell you about all sorts of stuff and how, oh my God, have you seen how the price of bread's going up in the supermarket? Here's what you do. You just say, it's not the time or place now, but you and I, we need to talk. Why don't I take your name and number and I'm going to show you a way how to alleviate all this rubbish going on. Now, that's the stuff that Steve and Robin and Steph Longworth wears, all of them. Can I be honest with you? It's taken me a lot of years to actually not verbally pour out onto people. And it is a skill and it takes restraint and discipline. But once you can do it, it's so easy. It's like, I was coaching a lady today and she said, it's like people just flock to you. Yeah, they do, because what I'm not doing, I'm just not selling. Does that make some sense? Right, last but not least, because we're a couple of minutes to go. Guys, I want to share something because this is really important. I'm going to share my part of the portal and you are all seeing it now. Recognize the dashboard?
Yeah.
You want to go to live training and events. I've booked, as I've explained to all of you, the Sunday the 14th online WES one kickoff. But guys, there are some real live ones. Now look, I'm just waiting for Shobna Harvey to give me the okay that if I do book, which I've always done, and often I've gone to at least 2, that if I get the dreaded phone call about my dear dad, that I will be able to just like cancel, because this is so not like me. Now, let's have a look what we've got here. So on Sunday the 7th, there is a Northwest. That's Robin and Steph, and it's utterly brilliant. Honestly, brilliant. This is the one I want to book, and I usually go every year, and it's the Midlands. So anyone in my team that's down my way, and you want to jump in the car with us, we're going to do it there and back in one day, primarily because I can't afford to be away in case I get that phone call. But that is worth it. Oh, it was so good last year. It was absolutely brilliant. And I've been promoting it massively and there's people going. Then there's one more. Where is it gone? It's the West Country. Am I going mad, guys? Hang on. It's another one. Here we go. The Southwest, which kind of conflicts with the online one. That is over in Cardiff. So, you know, that'll be Derek Thomas, Robin Brooks. There'll be Claire Hingott, massive. If you haven't booked, guys, I'm going to stop the share. You're missing a trick if you haven't booked one. I cannot even begin to explain to you the difference between being in person and doing this. I mean, I don't know how much energy I exude on these things and whether I get over to you. I don't know, but it's never as good as being there. So today I did one-to-one coaching and she agreed. She could feel my energy and she said, oh my God, I feel so inspired in that, because it is different when you're in person. It's absolutely amazing. You've really, listen, I feel the pandemic Zoom that was brought in is brilliant, but it's made us all bloody lazy. It really has. We used to go all over the country. Oh my God, I was everywhere. Okay, my carbon footprint wasn't brilliant, but I'll tell you what, I was a mad woman that was full of enthusiasm and I just loved it. You cannot. It's like, here you are. Everyone knows I'm a Rolling Stones fan and I've seen them a few times now. Oh my God, amazing. I'll tell you what, Mick Jagger on stage is just ridiculous at his age. It's crazy and it's wild. Now watch it on the TV. It's never the same. Never. I mean, that's the only thing that I can say. Steph says it definitely puts you about 6 months ahead of everybody else by actually being there. We all know that when we turn up at Power Up, don't we? The difference between being there and not being there. So that's my big sort of take, and say to you, yeah, you really, really need to. And then what was the last thing? There was something else I was going to say. Yes. What else can you do through this? You know, between Christmas and New Year, it's a bit of a dead time, isn't it? Lots of people are doing like, oh, I don't know, is it called January sales, but you get them in December? You know what I mean? People are doing all kinds of things. But what a great time to engage with your team. This is the time I'm going to start doing it. I'm booking one-to-ones. Yeah, one-to-ones with people. Now, preferably if you can face-to-face. Next best thing is Zoom. But what a great time to engage with people, because I'll tell you this, when you're with someone, it has an impact. It makes a difference. And I'm now going to put this to you, lovely people. We've all known each other a long time. We've all known each other a long time. And I feel that sometimes, even though I'm not close to you, I feel this incredible friendship, this kindredship. I can't put it any other way. And I feel genuinely an outpouring of love for everyone here, because I've got to know you, and I really mean that. And you know what? I think it's the relationships that keep us in. And so if we can do some of this stuff, it makes a difference. How much better do you feel when you get a phone call from someone and saying, well done? Oh my God, it kind of zips you up for the whole day, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do that for your team as well. Yeah, do that for your team. And it's a great opportunity to rekindle with those people that may have seemed to have gone very quiet. Because what I will say to you is, they're not always necessarily quiet. They may not react to things on the group chats, but they're watching. I promise you, they're watching. And I'll tell you who's one of them. And he's on my group later at 8 o'clock. Neil Lomer, senior team leader. I finally put him in the right team. I've stuck him in the Scottish team. Okay. He has sat for quite some years dormant. And then people's lives change. They do. Things happen. And all of a sudden, back at the end of September, October, he sort of got in contact and said, I want to get going again. Oh my God. He's brought in 10 partners. 10 partners. He's made a decision. I want to get going. And he's meant it. And he's gone full bout. And now he's coming on all sorts of stuff. So that's a good reason. This is the great time of year to do that sort of stuff. So on that note, guys, listen, I hope it's all right that I'm not doing next Tuesday. I will be back for, what day is Tuesday in the new year? Do you know, I've not looked.
Second.
It is the
second, I think.
Second.
That's right, because New Year's Day is on the Monday, like Christmas is on the Monday. Yeah. So that's the deal. There you are, 2nd of Jan. Let's go get in there. We'll all meet back. I'll put something out on the teams. And I hope that kind of stuff was a bit helpful, as ever.
Always is, Lisa. Thank you so much.
And listen, if I haven't said it before, genuinely, happy Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, you too.
You too, Lisa.
Happy Christmas to you.
A bit of fun and
Okay,
a peaceful time. And see you all in the new year.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, thank you.